Oh. Those of you who've been watching the channel for a little while know that we've got this piece of land here, and on the land you need some help sometimes with the use of machines. And if there's ever a chance that something was going to break down, it was going to break down this year. Beginning of the year, during the fire season, our water pump stopped working. I bought a second-hand. Most machines I buy are second-hand tools and equipment. I get them for what I suppose is a good price, but you are taking a risk every time you buy something second-hand. So I bought this water pump. It's a firefighting pump, and not only was it full of stones and inside the impeller, I got that fixed, but all the seals inside were worn, and so much so that the water pressure shot past the water seals backwards towards the engine, which is separate from the water pump, and made it past the engine main oil seal, pushed past it. I guess that was worn too, and filled up the petrol engine full of water. Of course it shut down and blew smoke, and I ended up having to fix that. So I pulled the water pump off the motor just to see first of all if it was worth fixing. This is my firefighting pump, and the water got past the seal and into the engine. These are about $1,100, and if I can repair it, I think it's a good thing. Save a few dollars. Problem is, the last bolt down there, the head's just about all corroded off, and I can't get a socket on it. I was lucky enough to get those other 4 bolts out. But anyway, let's try. Got a straight fluted easy out. Let's try that. But there's one thing about me, I do like fixing things. Yeah, I've got to replace this seal, so this case has to come off here, and I replace that seal and the gasket. There you go, that's what I get up to when in my spare time. I've taken the rocker cover off as well and given it a good clean and wash in there with kerosene. And now I'm going to blow it down and put some oil in there and put that cap back on. Later on I'm going to put fresh oil in it, run it through, drain that oil, and put the proper oil in. Just keep checking that oil, make sure it's all nice and clean. So I need to take the carby off. This manifold here's got some muck in it as well. But let me just, one thing at a time. I'm just going to gently roll this engine over. What can happen is, if you've got it mistimed, is the valves can hit the piston and then bend the valves, and that would wreck the engine. A Boss, and we'll use it, it'll be fine. Make sure you're going in square, that's the critical part. Okay. We still have the same goal, no leaks. Go around now, make sure everything's tight. I shall let that silicone dry overnight, and then I'll put some oil in it and start it tomorrow. I'm just using a cheap automotive oil here, just to give it a run for 5 minutes and flush it, and then I'm going to change the oil with proper air-cooled engine oil, Honda stuff. pump seal kit come in today, but I do need some more new bolts. This little seal here was split in two. You can see there it's been split for a long while. See the dark marks in there. I think it's a ceramic seal. It's no good. Oh, moving on to the next one, and this one's an interesting one. Look at that. I suspect that seal is completely worn out, given that it's meant to look like something like that. There's absolutely nothing left in there. That's amazing. Nothing left of it. Okay. Well, I fixed it, and it's working okay now. But it's probably not as good as a brand new one. And of course, because we've got land here, we've got a tractor with a slasher on it, and the slasher was leaking oil everywhere. I guess whilst I'm at it, I could fix the seal on this slasher, because it's leaking all over the place too. This stuff's been sitting out in the paddock for an eon. It doesn't want to come apart real easy. I might have to use my blowtorch on that to get it started. No, I don't think this gearbox has ever had any fresh oil put in it in its life. It's all milky. Tractor. Get this guy off and then see what happens after that. I'm just using the last little bit of workbench that I've got here. Every other little piece of horizontal surface in this shed is being used by my other machines. When I do jobs like this, I think of my grandfather's. My grandfather Fitzgerald was a motor mechanic, I guess from the early, or the late 20s, somewhere in the 20s, 1920s, born in 1916, and they started their apprenticeships pretty early. And my grandfather Turner, who wasn't a mechanic, but he was actually a qualified house builder. But he was a boat builder, he was a farmer, he could fix anything, because back in those days they did. They fixed everything. Doesn't want to come out. Oh. Take that to the shop now and get a new one. Clean these bolts up with a wire brush. My cleaning jig here. Yeah, I'd like to put some brand new high tensile, super duper chromed, triple polished bolts in here, but tractor flasher, mate. One there. One there. This cost me 19 bucks, this anti-seize. I remember my granddad's old car, I think it was an XY Falcon or something like that. 1970 model. I just don't quote me on the model. And he always took with him spare fan belts, wire, all the tools of course, a boot full of tools, spare radiator hoses, thermostats, heaps of wire just in case something snapped and needed to break. U-bolts, took a heap of U-bolts for exhaust, muffler putty, araldite. He took everything. I remember him telling me a story of a motorbike had a flat tyre and they had some rope and they stuffed the rope inside the tyre and got him home without destroying the tyre. It's just little bits of ingenuity. There you go. Now I did put a alignment mark on here. Not that that matters probably. Okay, next. Just about at the same time, the ride-on lawnmower as well hit some rocks and blades went flying, actually tore out of the cutting disc. I have to take out that pulley and shaft because underneath here, this disc is completely, where is it? Completely munted is the word. All bent up due to hitting rocks and logs and every other damn thing out there in the paddock. Come on, just pop. Not that way. Looks like I've got to lathe up a center point on my puller. Is missing the little center point that holds it inside there, so it just falls off, of course. So I can perhaps get on the lathe and make what I need. Oh man. Typical, use what you've got. I've got to use this manky old piece of stuff that I've got, but at least I've got it. I'll turn it down to the right size and then I'll make something of it. My boring bar, I'm going to use this as a boring bar. It's a masonry drill, an old crappy one. Oh, it's only 11 mil. I've got miles to go. Okay, I think I'm good. Indeed, I am. That'll do. Close enough, eh? Groovy. Mission accomplished. This is the fester I needed to get out to work on. I'll get a flat surface so I can show you the damage. Alright. So these blades obviously attached to this big plate. And when you hit enough logs over time, they deform, they bend up, and they chunk out, and they tear out, and your blades go flying out. So my plan is to try and repair these, flatten them out, use the hammer, dress them out, and keep going with it. Well, I guess it's either do that, do the repair, or buy a whole new cutting disc. And that's about $280, and it's money I don't want to spend at the moment. In the workshop I've got a bit of 3mm plate, and I just traced out the form that I needed and cut out that square hole, and then we're just going to weld it on now. Trying to keep these all exactly the same 210mm. I'll put all the stuff back together now, I won't bore you with it. Nuts and bolts stuff. Look, there's a multitude of other things that broke. The cement mixer, the portable camping fridge, all those things. But look, it's all part and parcel of when you buy something second hand, and part and parcel of when you like fixing things. you attract broken things. Man. Here's another thing I bought second hand that's broken. Apparently the thermistor on these little camping fridges gives out and it can be replaced. So over Christmas it froze all our drinks and broke all the glass bottles. So I need to fix it. Oh, -4, that's what it says, but on the thermometer, looking down there, you probably can't see it, but it's about 4.5 degrees, so that's probably what I want. So yeah, the calibration of the of the actual reading is probably a bit out, but I'm okay with that as long as the actual temperature is where I want it. Let's call it fixed. Look, I don't mind fixing things. I actually really like it. So it's always a bit of a thrill. I spent a career out of fixing broken aeroplanes, and I've been fixing things since I was quite little, motorbikes and cars. And you know what? It's all been part of my life, so I enjoy it. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and would love to see you in the comments. We'll see you on the next one.